What is up, everybody? It's over. It's finally over. Goodbye, preseason. Bring on the regular season. A lot of slop on the field in this one. 26-3. Eagles finished the preseason 2-1. Joining me, he is Ryan Reese at Philly Sports PSA. What's up, Ryan?
Man, you couldn't have said it better. That was tough to watch. I'm glad it's over. 13 days until Brazil, and we got some real football.
Yeah. Also joining us, as always, he is Shane Haff at Shane Haff NFL on X. What's good, Shane?
Man, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I thought the end of that game, 12 plays, burns 6 minutes off the clock, and hits the field goal as time Oh, wait. We're not talking Florida State, Georgia Tech, are we?
Yeah, this was as a guy that I love day 3 prospects in the NFL. I love NBA Summer League and watching guys that probably don't sniff an NBA court. This was different. This was uninspired, low energy, a lot of penalties, just bad football from beginning to end. Guys, if you're watching us live, please be sure to comment. Please be sure to let us know your thoughts on the game. Subscribe, all that fun stuff. We have Eagles Eric chiming in. No way Cooper DeJean will play week 1. He looks slow, man. He looks slow as expected. We'll get into Cooper DeJean and our initial impressions. Hazel says, WTF happened. Why couldn't we have used the starters? That wasn't expected. And Big Al says, tough watch. Let's just do our general takeaways, quick reaction. Ryan, I think people need to be held accountable for what we saw in this game. I think it's time to rethink the coordinators. I think it's time that, the actions that we saw on the field have consequences. We got to send a message. No, I'm just kidding. The take is like, this game means nothing. It was meaningless from the jump. I think Tanner McKee has somewhat crashed down to earth this past week, especially in this game. He had a couple of nice drives. He had a couple of drops from his friends, but Kenny Pickett looked way better than Tanner McKee in this one. I still think Tanner McKee's protection kind of looked like Kenny Pickett's protection in the first 2 weeks. Regardless, Kenny Pickett 1, Tanner McKee 0 in week 3. I thought Nolan Smith, man, the concerns about Nolan Smith have to start somewhere, and it starts in preseason week 3. The fact that he didn't do anything positive in this one is very concerning. He was just a non-factor in this one. Maybe you move Zach Bond to edge. Maybe you put N'Kobe in at linebacker. That's a discussion for later in the show. But the fact that this guy couldn't even make an impact against third stringers is a big red flag, whether you admit it or not. It is a red flag. I thought there was some impressive play by the linebackers. Maybe call me crazy for saying this, Shane, but maybe linebacker is not our best position group, but it might be our deepest. This might be the position with the lowest drop off with the injury, and that is an insane thought process. I'll let you go next, Shane.
Yeah, linebacker is not the biggest concern on the defense. Pass rush is, and we'll see when we get to the regular season. I mean, you don't have Brandon Graham, you don't have Bryce Huff. There's a lot of guys not playing. My big picture takeaway is that the game we just watched is why the third week of the preseason should not exist. It's terrible football. It's played by guys who are most likely not going to make the roster. It's time to cut down the preseason some more. Week 3 should not
Cut it and then add a bye week or something in the regular season. Let's get serious. Ryan, what's your general big picture takeaway from this game?
Yeah, you would hope to see a little bit more. I mean, as Shane said, these are guys that are, on the back end of the roster and not going to make this team. You'd think maybe one of them would, realize that their job and their potential life is on the line as far as their livelihood. So you didn't see any of that. You didn't see any extra from any of these lower tier players. And in fact, there were a couple of guys we were just talking before the show. I didn't even recognize names. Like,
You mean you don't have a full scouting report on Julian Cora?
I mean, listen, I've at least heard of Okora before, but like the leading receiver, I've never heard of in my entire life. I still don't know him, and I read his name and looked him up.
Yeah, this was a lot of slap. Let's get some comments. Miss Chris says the fourth quarter made me angry. What a waste. Pickett should be our QB4. I think they're trying to save face. They're going to keep him QB2 just to not completely nuke his trade value down the road. Marshawn it's okay to call Nolan Smith a bust. Normally we go through like offense and defense. I say we just jump into Nolan Smith. Let's just do this right now. We said it during halftime show. If you've watched the preseason, if you give a damn about preseason at all, there's no doubt in my mind Jalen Hunt is a better fit for this defense than Nolan Smith. He's struggled top to bottom. He has had horrible first halves in games. He's been incredibly inconsistent. Shane, what's your take on this?
I think there's a chance Nolan Smith is a game day inactive week 1. Like he's been that bad. And if you just look at box scores, you say Nolan Smith has 2 sacks. The sack in the first game, he was unblocked. The sack in the second game, a running back chipped on him and the tackle didn't expect it and knocked him inside. Nolan Smith shows no pass rush move. Like, it's the preseason, man. I understand it's not your thing. Try to throw a pass rush move against a third string guard that's playing tackle. Just try it. And he will not. It's run the edge, bend the edge, and he can't do it. He cannot drop into coverage. We saw that last year. So what does he bring? Well, he's a good edge setter. That's not enough. Jalen Hunt, you're right, has looked better than he has in the preseason, and Jalen Hunt can drop into coverage. Hunt should be taking some of those snaps from Nolan Smith. I legitimately think there's a shot he'll be inactive for week 1.
Any thoughts on Nolan Smith? Are we overreacting, Ryan?
No, I don't think so because, again, we didn't really get much of him, last year. And so this was the year. This is the year that, we just couldn't get him on the field last year. And, he has all of the opportunity to seize a significant role in this defense in that rotation. And he just doesn't seem to want to grab it. There's a lot of question marks on edge and that defensive line. And he's got to be one of the biggest ones right now. I mean, listen, I heard somebody, kind of compare it how, people are always talking about Cowboys first rounder Mazzie Smith being, bust and not being able to get on the field, and us not really being that same truthfulness about Nolan Smith here. And honestly, I think it's time that we need to start treating him the same way. He doesn't seem like he wants to be on this field, and he doesn't show any promise to be a first rounder that we all thought we were getting that extra first rounder. I don't like to throw the bus name around. I think you at least need, a couple of years in the league, but I think by year's end, I think we may be saying it.
Yeah, Marshawn says Nolan's a bust. It's okay to say it. I really hope Ben Van Sumeren makes the team. That's the guy I was referring to in my big picture takeaway. I thought Ben Van Sumeren was flying around the football field today. The depth at linebacker is just such a growth that I didn't expect this training camp and preseason. Marshawn says, get my boy Ryan a hat. Don't do him like that. Jalen Hunt season. I didn't notice Jalen Hunt that much at all today, but
he didn't play today.
He didn't play today?
No.
That tells you.
I think he's dealing with a minor injury.
Is he? Okay.
It's not that he's starter level. I think he was just dealing with a nagging injury, so he was out today.
Okay. Nolan Smith equals Derek Barnett. The penalty he had last week definitely had Derek Barnett vibes. 30th pick in the NFL draft, looking like he doesn't belong in the league, is very concerning. Brian Branch was there. Shane and I were talking before our halftime show about Brian Branch if we had taken him over Nolan Smith. I had him number 12 on my big board that year.
I would have. Yeah, I had him above Nolan. So yeah, I would have.
They were very clueless out there, James. It was not pretty. I think the second big story of this one, kind of going off script here, but James Bradbury did not dress in this one. Meanwhile, I thought arguably player of the game was Tristan McCollum, who looked really good in coverage, looked sound with his tackling. He finished this game with 9 tackles. He had a pass deflection. I thought he was all over the field. Shane, is there any chance James Bradbury makes this team and Tristan McCollum does not? Because I will be flipping tables.
I think so. I think the fact that Bradbury didn't dress today and that he wasn't waived yet, because I mean they cut CJ Uzoma, give him a chance to go land somewhere else. They didn't do that with Bradbury. I feel quite certain that James Bradbury will make this roster. Tristan McCollum should make this roster. That was one of my big takeaways. I've been calling him out all throughout the preseason. I thought he had a really strong showing today. Should have had an interception that got negated by a penalty. Played really well. Tristan McCollum should make this roster. My favorite play of his, I tweeted it out, but it was 3rd and 1. The slot corner blitzes, and he has to dive down from 12 yards off on a flat route, and he breaks it up. That is a tough play. I thought he's played really well. He deserves a spot on this roster. I don't think he's going to make it, but he should be there.
Yeah. Any thoughts on that, Ryan? Because I mean, the safety group, you look at Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Reed Blankenship, Sidney Brown on the PUP list, Caden Stern probably on the PUP list. Avonte Maddox is definitely a lock. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, listen, I actually think, I agree with Shane. I think because of how they've handled Bradbury, I think he's on this team. And, I also think McCollum has played his way onto this team. And I think it's okay for them to keep 4 safeties, PUP list 2 of them, keep Avonte as a corner. But unfortunately, that kind of knocks one of the many, young corners that we could possibly keep out. I think that's where the shift will happen. But yeah, I think he's done plenty to make this roster. Again, that interception, that wasn't great play. The play Shane just mentioned, he just seems to be there and around. And again, I know it's against 3rd stringers, but again, you have to be out there. You have to make the plays that are in front of you, and he seems to do that. So I want him on this team. And you know what? If that means Job is out, bye-bye.
I hated the scheme today, man. When I go back to like uninspiring, lazy football, that's exactly what I'm referring to. Oh, here's the play by Tristan McCollum, the pass deflection. Yeah. That's nice, man. He's been all over the field this preseason. James Bradbury does not make that play. I'm sorry. He does not have that closing speed whatsoever. So we'll see. Cut day is just a few days away. We've got multiple shows that will be breaking it down. Party on Broad on Monday, Birds of the Round Table on Tuesday, all that fun stuff. Cannot wait. Obviously, the next big story in this one, I feel like we should need to just talk about individual guys today rather than just the team, because that's what the 3rd preseason game is all about. Cooper DeJean. We got our first glimpse at Cooper DeJean in this one. Cooper DeJean finished with 5 tackles. He had 5 tackles. He had a tackle for loss. He had a pass deflection. The first half was a little rough, very sloppy. Nearly got beat by 2 touchdown throws that were dimes, by the way. But I previewed him during our Vikings preview show. That is Jaron Hall. He looked really good today, by the way. And I'll throw it to you, Ryan. What are your quick thoughts on Cooper DeJean?
Yeah, listen, it was his first time to finally get out there. He's still coming off of an injury, which is one of those, nagging kind of things that takes a little time to be comfortable with it. So he looked a little lost. Again, he's a rookie. He looked a little slow, injury. So I wasn't necessarily, worried about any of that. Again, I'd rather him just get out there, be out there. But what I did see with of him, in the limited in the second half, I did like. But yeah, I'm not concerned. I think, he's just needing time to ramp up. I mean, he's been hurt for most of training camp. He's missed a lot. So he's been doing a lot of the mental reps, but getting it out on the field is another thing. And somebody said earlier, I don't think we see Coop week one. It's very possible. I mean, again, it's a loaded room, so it's not like we don't have options. So I think you can kind of, because of his preseason, his training camp, I think you can kind of slow play him along, to kind of ramp him up, and I think we're going to see bits and pieces here and there until he's fully ready to be unleashed.
I think everything we read about this week is exactly what we saw, exactly what translated in this game. He looked a step slow, no doubt about it. And that's okay. We're not going to overreact to Cooper DeJean. His versatility is king. I can't wait to see how he's utilized in the slot as a safety.
Oh,
whoa, guys. Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm just fascinated by his potential as like a big nickel linebacker and things like that, the way that he could be utilized to take advantage of his athleticism, tackling, instincts, closing speed. I can't wait to see Cooper DeJean unleashed. But I agree, Ryan. Ramp him up slowly. There's no need to throw him out there yet. Shane, any thoughts?
I mean, we said it on Birds of the Round Table when he injured his hamstring. It's stock down for Cooper DeJean. That's going to cost him a shot to start at the beginning of the year because he missed a lot of valuable time in training camp, and you're acclimating to the speed and physicality of the NFL game. And so I am not concerned by what I saw from DeJean today. Like, I thought he was just a tick off on a lot of plays, and that comes with experience and reps that he didn't get. So, he still had a good play where he fired downhill in the running game, got a tackle for loss. He was inches away from giving up 2 big plays. But at the same time, we have applauded Keely Ringo for using the sideline as an extra defender. And DeJean didn't do it to that level. DeJean's not a second-year player. So I'm not concerned at all. Like Ryan said, you're going to ramp him up slow. You're not going to see him a lot the first few weeks. I'm hoping after the bye, we see what we kind of expected to see before the injury.
Yeah. Anthony says, I'm so happy that the preseason is over. That's the comment of the day right there, bar none. Coda's Cove says, any thoughts on what happens with a potential tight end 3? The top 2 are prone to injury. I still go with AJ Jenkins. That's just my take. I thought he's earned it. I agree they could probably look elsewhere. But right now, I go Goddard, Calcaterra, EJ Jenkins. EJ Jenkins is fine. Any thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah, no, I think it's EJ. And in fact, I want to make sure I get the audio clip of the Leroy Jenkins. Every time he makes a play, I just do that. Leroy Jenkins. Because listen, he's athletic. He was making plays, especially last week. And unfortunately, we don't have a lot of options. We obviously cut CJ Uzuma. And yeah, listen, we've been barking for tight end 2 for God knows how long. We're not getting it anytime soon, but we got to go with what we got. And EJ seems to be good enough for a tight end 3 role. I mean, think about it. Is he better than Jack Stoll? I think so.
That's a great question. Shane, Jack Stoll or EJ Jenkins?
I mean, give me EJ Jenkins. I've seen Jack Stoll.
Yeah, at least Jack Stoll, though, can give you elite blocking. What does EJ Jenkins do at an elite level?
Elite catching.
Does he?
Yeah.
Are we sure about that?
Come on. You've seen his catch radius. It's amazing.
He made one catch.
It was an amazing catch.
Was it amazing, though? All right.
I couldn't do it, so.
EJ can't block, but he'll do it. I agree. It's got to be EJ Jenkins for sure. Let's talk about a guy that I wasn't ready to talk about. I kind of wrote him off this preseason, this training camp. Daniel Lee chimes in. Oren Burks. Burks had a really strong day today. He had a sack. He seemed to be making plays as Shane throws up this one on our YouTube channel. Oren Burks had a really strong game. He went, I think, from like a guy that's completely not even in the picture to I think he's on the practice squad. Shane, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think Oren Burks had a strong day, and I want to talk about Ben Van Sumeren before we're done too, because he had a really strong day. I don't think the Eagles are keeping 6 linebackers, and it's a shame one of those guys, or maybe both, won't make it, because I thought they both played really well.
Yeah, you look at Devin White, Zach Bond, Trot Jr., Nakobe Dean, and then you get to like Ben Van Sumeren, like Patrick Johnson. Yeah. Any thoughts, Ryan?
Yeah, listen, I think Van Sumeren, was a long shot to begin with. He did have a fantastic day. And yeah, it was good to see Oren Burks. I thought we were going to get a little bit more out of Oren Burks this preseason. Unfortunately, injuries it's kind of prevented that. So I would like to see him stick around. I think, I'm not necessarily worried about Van Sumeren picking up anywhere. So should we need him, he certainly could be around. But yeah, listen, it's a good problem to have, when you're literally saying, man, I wish they could keep him, but you just don't have the room, unfortunately.
Didn't Burks miss a tackle and drop an interception? Otherwise, did look good.
I mean, we're not calling that a dropped interception.
That was the one that he's diving for, right?
Yeah, that ball was tipped up in the air and he laid out for it.
Right,
I'm not calling that a drop. That was almost a great play. I expect AJ Brown to catch that. I don't expect Oren Burks to catch that.
Yeah, I think Ben Van Sumeren is a lock to make this team.
You think Ben Sumeren making this team?
I think he is. Yeah,
he plays a lot of special teams.
I think he's going to make that final linebacker spot. Yep.
So you think they're keeping 5 linebackers?
Yep.
I don't see it with all the depth everywhere else. I
think linebacker is going to be like the position we see the most fluidity with, guys going in and out week to week depending on matchups.
I mean, listen, I could totally see him kind of being either a practice squad guy or somebody that they, maneuver or, they put someone on injury. I just don't see him making the initial 53. I just, again, I think they will love to keep him kind of in the fold, and who knows, maybe he might be there for week 1 as a special team guys. But I mean, let's be honest though, start of the offseason, Ben Van Sumeren was still a long shot to make this team. Let's not kid ourselves.
Miss Chris says the 3rd and 4th stringers are pro athletes, but good grief, they lack. Yeah. All right. Any other takes before we get into player of the game?
Nope. Let's do it.
I would love to just take a moment. One, can we have a moment of silence for Tanner McKee being our number 2? That died today, gentlemen. That died.
It might have, but I can still put up 3 throws that he made that are better than anything Kenny Pickett made today.
Hey, that was not. He was throwing the ball 15 yards down the field. You hold your tongue. Okay.
He had 1 completion over 10 yards.
And he had 2 other great throws that were dropped. Okay. Kenny Pickett outperformed McKee. Let's not be foolish.
Let's get into our Eagles player of the game. Player of the game. We made it. I'm just giddy that we actually are wrapping up the preseason, man. I'm so excited. Week 1 against the Packers. We have so much fun content ready for you guys. We've been planning for this, preparing for this for weeks, and we're ready to jump right into it. Shane, you lead us off, man. Who's your player of the game?
I'm going to give it to Tristan McCollum. I think he played really well for all the reasons we talked about earlier. He should have had an interception. Tristan McCollum leads the team in tackles. He gets the pass defense, should have had the pick, gets him off the field on that 3rd down. I thought he played really well. He should make this roster, so he's my player of the game.
That's a really, really good pick. Ryan, who are you going with?
Stole mine. I don't know. I mean, outside of him, like there wasn't a lot to kind of draw on, but oh man. Um, maybe I'll say Anais Smith. He didn't have the greatest game, but I felt like he was out there for a while. He had, you know, awful, awful training camp and preseason, and he was out there. He had 6 catches. Again, he was, trying to make some plays and again showing that he wants to be a part of this team. And I think, for somebody that I think most of us kind of written off as, well, we had hopes for this kid, but obviously he doesn't have it. There was a little spark of something there, and I think that might be maybe that might be enough to throw him on the practice squad. Who knows? Doubtful, but we'll see. But I don't know. I just like the fact that he was out there making plays and showing some heart. So.
Jonathan Pooh says, my 8-year-old summed it up, 0 hustle. Ziggy says, number 47 was flashing today. That's Armani Rogers.
Yeah.
Are you sure that's the guy you're thinking of? Because I saw him get blown up in pass protection. And if you're going to make this team as a tight end 3, you've got to do a little bit better than that, even though E.J. Jenkins is not elite in that category. Miss Chris says, I was quite happy to see DeJean too. The link might have the same water pipes that are feeding into Citizens Bank Park. I'm going to go Ben Van Sumeren. Give me Ben Van Sumeren as my player of the game. He had 6 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, a sack, a quarterback hit. And as I said at the start of the show, kudos to the depth at this linebacker position. I'm comfortable saying I think he makes this roster. Anybody else you want to give a shout out to, guys? I think we nailed it. All right, let's get to our grades for today. This is a segment where we grade the Eagles' performance as a team, A to F. Shane, how would you grade today's performance?
Like a D. I'll give it a solid D.
I think you're being generous, man. Quite honestly.
I mean, you have to see where expectations meet reality. So if this was week 1, it's like an F, but week 3 of the preseason, I'll give it a bump up to a D.
This would be a D if Cooper DeJean had a really good game and everything else came with it. There's nothing here. I'm going straight F. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, I wasn't going to be that harsh, but I was just going to say D- as low as I can possibly go without complete failure. But listen, it was awful. It lacked heart. It lacked hustle. It lacked any watchability. I had it on in the background at some points because I had to walk away. It was that bad. I mean, listen, preseason is rough, and we're done. D for done. You're right. I also give it an F for the fact that it was taking me away from the amazing Georgia Tech Florida State game. That's a good point, actually. That is a good point.
That game was awesome.
Okay,
I was having so much fun with that.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, I'm taking my notes on my notepad with the Eagles, going back and forth. It was exhausting. So that drops it to lower than an F.
I get it.
Ziggy says if that interception doesn't get called back, it could be Harris, man.
A whole new ball game.
All right, let's get to our Eagles game in 3 words or less. All right, Eagles game in 3 words or less. Shane, do we have anybody on Twitter for this one?
We do. So each week at the end of the game, we'll tweet out from the Eagles Pin Pull account at Eagles Pin Pull on Twitter and ask for your 3-word reactions. And so you can head there and drop them. You can do it in the comments here on the live show as well and we'll throw some of the best ones up on the screen. But we've got a yay, it's over from Anthony on Twitter. David stole his answer 15 minutes later and said, glad it's over. So we can give David a hard time about that, I guess. And then we've got a duo of comments, one from @Catacove, another from @KP_Lion that says, Nolan Smith, yikes, and Nolan looks rough. So some rough preseason, rough Nolan Smith. That's kind of our 3 words from Twitter.
Yeah.
I have about 103 words right now I could do.
Yeah. I'm trying to make it in 3 words. You stole my Nolan Smith one. So I can't go there.
I've got 3 of them, so I can help you guys out if you need one.
I'll say
I got plenty.
I'll say Patricia is back. Because that was some of the worst defensive scheme I have seen since Patricia, Sean Desai, Jonathan Gannon. Like having a guy like Josh Jobe play 10 yards off the line of scrimmage is a joke. That should never happen. It was just a bad approach from the beginning. So Patricia's back is mine. Ryan, do you have one?
Yeah, I got a couple. That was brutal.
That's good. That's good.
It's finally over. To kind of go on that. Picket number 2.
Jesus. You could say Ben freaking Van Sumeren. That's 3 words.
You could just say Ben Van Sumeren and just
that Van Sumeren's 1.
I mean,
technically the segment is called 3 words or
is
less.
It?
So
all right.
Hey, there you go.
You can get away with that.
Too many linebackers.
There's something that I never thought we would say on a podcast, and we may totally take it back 4 weeks from now.
we may take it back after quarter number 1. I'm not trusting any of this until I see it for like 75% of a season.
Hurd says concern over Nolan Smith. Y'all just saying we were not saying that.
Yeah, no.
No.
Anthony says great minds think alike. Dear Lord, saying Matt Patricia just gave me PTSD.
That's what I said. I was like, damn, that's harsh.
How are we going to trade for now? Probably nobody until the trade deadline.
Yeah, I think Dotson was the move.
Yep, I do too.
So here in the South, when we talk, sometimes we just run some words together and we kind of combine words into one. So that's what I'm about to do. My 3 words is my watch has ended.
Yes.
Preseason is over. We could go ban the preseason, but the real 3 words for this is 13 more days. 13 more days, man. Eagles open at Brazil in 13 days. I cannot wait to watch Jalen Hurts play football. Right. I can't wait to watch A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, watch this actual offense play. I'm so excited.
There's so much, man. There's so much to be excited for. There's so much to dissect this season on offense and defense. Like, it's going to be one of the more fun seasons, I think, in a long time. Let's wrap it up.
Real quick, can I just say, Shane, that was a very Dives answer of you.
Hey,
Dives answer.
You hyphenate it.
Right, yeah. That if you found a way around the rules and to say what you wanted to say.
I mean,
that's what
watch ends with an H, has starts with an H. In the South, we're totally running that together. My watch is ended.
I got it. You justified it, but yeah, I mean that's why I always pick some coach to win player of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Shane gets 10 extra bonus points for the Game of Thrones reference. I am always here for that. All right, let's wrap it up. Final thoughts, plugs. I'm just so excited to be moving on to get to the final 53-man roster, which will be dropping on Tuesday.
About it.
Ryan, final thoughts and plugs. You're up first.
Yeah, listen, as we've been saying, we made it. Yeah, I feel like every stage through the off season after the season ends, we always go to that. Oh, well, we made it, to free agency. We made it to the draft. We made it to, OTAs. Well, guess what? We have now officially made it to the end of preseason. We We just have to wait that stupid week in between now. And next by then, by 13 days from now, we'll all be watching them in Brazil. This is going to be crazy. But yeah, I cannot wait to see this offense in action, as we've all been saying. Again, there's a million people. Who are you going to cover? But anyway, outside of that, please make sure you are following Eagles Pin Pull and EOP and all the wonderful shows that come through here. So please make sure you do that. Make sure you're following all these guys. Me and Dives are going to be coming on tomorrow for our week 1 college football preview. We're going to be doing some Eagles targets to look at as well. You could find me Mondays, 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock for Football Smack Talk Show and Party on Broad. And then, of course, the best Eagles show in the nation, Birds of the Round Table, Tuesdays, 8 o'clock. Check it out.
All right, man. Ryan Reese is all over the place, man. If you haven't seen him already, what are you doing? Shane, do you have any final thoughts and plugs for this one? You're muted, man.
Yeah, you are.
You're muted, man.
Dang it. I was making fun of Ryan, too. I was going to say we'll get Ryan a hat next time if that was bothering some of you guys.
The one time I don't wear a hat, everybody's like, what the hell is going on?
No, man, it's been fun doing this for the preseason. It's been fun tweeting out clips, coming on, talking post-game shows with 650 of you guys after the game. I can't wait to do it in 2 weeks in Brazil. Tune in to all the shows that we've got coming out. The Eagles Pin Pull Network, we've got 6 shows a week. We're going to have a lot of stuff coming your way over the next 2 weeks. Birds of the Round Table, the Armchair Scouts, Chalk Talk on the Shane page, Eye on the Enemy just dropped this morning. Lots of great stuff. Jeff Kerr was on from CBS with John Stolnis, power ranking teams in the NFC. So we're going to have great stuff coming your way. Make sure you're tuned in for it. Make sure you're here Friday night after the Brazil game. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully we're celebrating an Eagles 1-0 start.
I'm already nervous, man. I already feel it. It's already there. I can't wait. Marshawn says muted in 2024 is a crime. The Armchair Scouts logo looks like a dude.
Wow.
I might have brought that up before.
Oh wow! Can we see that again real quick? Now that I've heard that.
Yes, there you go.
All right, yeah, I get it. I mean,
I will say, in my defense, I almost never mute my microphone, but my voice is going, and I'm muting and clearing my throat like nonstop, and I'm out of practice. Preseason, it's preseason for us too.
Yeah, we're all allowed to make mistakes,
Not Dibes. He's not allowed to make mistakes.
Yeah, I literally went through like 2 weeks of no voice. So here we are. When is John Stolnis coming on Birds of the Round Table? Let's do it, man. Put it in the books.
Yeah.
Let's do it. That'd be really fun.
Yeah, we're gonna try and get some guests coming up too. So
yeah, we've got plenty of guests lined up. Other like types of like behind enemy lines, like with guests of other teams, podcasts, and breaking down X's and O's and things like that. It's going to be a lot of fun. It is week 0 of college football. If you haven't already, go check out my first week 0 winner that I just posted in the Georgia Tech and Florida State game. There will be another one for the SMU game. I'm sure SMU is just going to roll. So be prepared for that. But once this season gets started, I'll be putting at least a handful of those every single week as we get ready for the 2025 NFL Draft. So, guys, thank you, everyone, for watching one last time. Please be sure to like this video, subscribe wherever you're watching. He is Ryan Reese at Philly Sports PSA. I am Dives, Mr. Crockpot. That is Shane at Shane Hef NFL. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Stay awesome, everyone.